Hi everyone and welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about a company called Eaze. Now this company is a cannabis business and they are located in California. So I'm going to be talking about two of their consultants who were sentenced to jail for bank fraud. All right, so let's read and see what happened. Now this article was released on June 18th of 2021, so it was less than a year ago. All right, so what does this say? It says a Manhattan federal judge sentenced two former consultants for Eaze Technologies Inc. to prison on Friday for their roles in a scheme to dupe U.S. banks into handling more than $100 million in payments to the online cannabis marketplace. So the judge sentenced Hamid and his cohort, Ruben, to 50. Well, Ruben was sentenced to 15 months, while Hamid was sentenced to 2 years, and it was on 2 counts each of conspiracy to commit bank fraud in March. So what did these guys do that was considered a conspiracy to commit bank fraud? Well, let's read a little bit further. It says that Rakoff, which is a judge, also ordered one of the defendants to pay $100,000 in fines and forfeit $17.2 million, which prosecutors said that was what he made on the scheme. So let's unpack this a little bit. All right, you have these two guys that defrauded the banks out of however much they defrauded the banks out of. So you have these two guys that defrauded the banks, right? And in order for them to get so-called restitution, not only is one of them going to have to pay a fine for $100,000, he's also having to give up the entire money that he made during this whole process. So what does that tell you? That means that, yeah, this was not worth it at all. Now, they try to circumvent the laws of the United States as it relates to cannabis. As you all know, cannabis is still a Schedule I drug, which means it is illegal. It's considered, on this federal level, it's considered trafficking in an illegal substance. And because it's illegal on the federal level, banks are not allowed to bank cannabis businesses. So you have some cannabis companies that try to figure out ways to circumvent the laws, and they come up with these harebrained schemes and ideas to say, okay, let's try this and see what happens. Most of the times you are going to get busted because the feds are on the lookout for the different kind of schemes that they think cannabis businesses can possibly be a part of. See, because this industry is still illegal, they know that people are going to try to come up with ways to circumvent 280E. They're going to try to come up with ways to figure out how to circumvent the banking rules and the banking laws. So you should always be on the lookout. They're going to try to figure out a way to structure payments. And when I say structure payments, I'm talking about when they receive more than $10,000 from a particular a transaction, rather than filling out Form 8300, which everyone is supposed to do, not just cannabis businesses, but all businesses are required to fill out Form 8300. If they receive more than $10,000 within a transaction, they'll try to structure it and try to deposit $5,000 here, $3,000 there, and then the balance on another day, which in and of itself is also illegal, right? Okay, so let's see what else happened here. So you have the second defendant who agreed after the trial. Now, he got the 15 months. His name is Wygand. He got 15 months while his cohorts got 2 years. Now, let's see, after the trial, he agreed to forfeit $384,000, which is what he earned related to the scheme. And he also, on top of that, was ordered to pay $50,000 in fines. So not only did you lose what you made, you had to come up out of your pocket to pay additional money in fines. Okay, so at trial, the prosecutors presented evidence that the two men schemed to disguise payments to Eaze as payments to other sham retailers between 2016 and 2019. So when they say sham retailers, more than likely they opened up dummy accounts or dummy businesses and ran the cannabis payments through those businesses. That way they wouldn't be red flagged. Now, to show you how much time the feds have, this happened between 2016 and 2021. Well, this particular article was released in June of 2021. So the IRS, not the IRS, I'm sorry, well, the IRS as well, but the feds, they're just like a cat waiting in the corner to pounce. They have nothing but time, resources, and whatever they need to eventually take people down if that is what their goal is. They're very, very patient. So don't think because you're doing something and you've gotten away with it for, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years, that it's not going to somehow come back and bite you in the ass, because clearly, as you can see, it happened to these two guys. So let's see, the prosecutors called Haven the mastermind of the ruse to get the payments past banks and credit card networks, which have policies prohibiting marijuana transactions. Now, I have had people ask me, and I have actually seen some individuals in this cannabis space who have openly set up companies that they run their money, their funds through. Now, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily intending to defraud the government. They really don't know that what they're doing is illegal and fraudulent, and it could get them thrown behind bars. They don't really know that. So it's important that you know that, you realize that, and you try to stay under the radar and do things right. So if you are in it for right now, since cannabis is still illegal, you want to try to just work with banks within your state, or you work with banks who are okay working with cannabis touching businesses. All right. So don't try to say, okay, well, I'm just going to secretly use my bank at Chase, or secretly use my bank at Bank of America and run these payments through and hope that they don't find out, because eventually there is going to be some red flag that will cause them to realize what it is that you're doing. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you're necessarily going to get thrown behind bars if you were found out to be running money through your personal accounts. It's not automatic, but you just never know what could happen. For the most part, the cases that I have seen so far is when people intentionally just sit there and they try to figure out a way to scheme and come up with ideas and schemes to circumvent the rules and the regulations as it relates to cannabis businesses. And as you can see here, it says that the substance is legal in California, where Eaze operates, but remains illegal under federal law. So because it is illegal on a federal level, you are not allowed to do anything across state lines. You cannot transport marijuana across state lines, and banking and credit card transactions are also off limits based upon these rules. So what's the moral to the story? Do not try to circumvent the rules around cannabis banking, because in the end, it's not worth it. Hire an accountant and an attorney that are both familiar with the cannabis space. Your attorney is going to keep you out of trouble. So if you have certain questions, if you come up with some idea, you can always consult with your attorney to make sure that what you are thinking about doing is actually legal and will not get you in trouble. And your accountant is going to help you on the financial side. Not only are they going to help you minimize your tax liability, they're also going to make sure that your systems are set up properly and that you are doing things in a way that is compliant with not only the feds, but also with the states. They're going to help you if you're looking for banking resources. Your accountants can probably help you with that. Also, if the state comes knocking, your accountant is going to make sure that your systems are set up in such a way that you can provide the state with whatever information they need as it relates to your business. Okay? Well, thanks again for taking the time to watch my video. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to subscribe and like my page. And if you have any questions, or if you'd like a consultation, you can click the link in the description to set up a consultation with me. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.